The Scavenger's Legacy. The landing was rougher than I'd anticipated, even by my well-worn standards. My ship, a patchwork of salvaged hull plates, jury-rigged thrusters, and navigation arrays older than my grandparents', complained loudly as it plunged through the thin, acrid atmosphere. Sparks danced across the console as I wrestled the controls, muttering curses under my breath. A final shudder, a sickening crunch, and I came to rest on the planet's surface. I took a moment to breathe. The engine sputtered to silence, leaving behind an unsettling quiet that pressed against my ears. No wind, no wildlife, just the hum of my suit's environmental systems and my own pounding heart. I brushed soot from the cracked viewport and surveyed the landscape. My sensors hadn't lied. This was indeed a graveyard world. Rising from the dust and ash were fragments of alien metal, twisted beams and shards that caught the sickly light of the star overhead. That star, a bloated red dwarf, bathed everything in a crimson pall. I'd been to many ruined worlds in my years as a scavenger, but something about this place felt especially unsettling. Perhaps it was the bones, broken, half-buried skeletons visible even from inside the cockpit. I pulled on my helmet and stepped down the ramp. The ground crunched beneath my boots. Bone fragments, fused slag, and debris formed a grotesque mosaic. The air, though technically breathable with my suit's filters, reeked of decay and old fires. According to my charts, an ancient alien bunker lay not far from here. The faint energy readings I detected promised hidden technology or resources worth a fortune back in the colony. I clung to that hope, ignoring the knot of unease in my gut. My ship, a nameless hulk to which I'd never bothered assigning a fancy title, stood behind me like a wounded beast, leaking coolant. I set a few basic perimeter alarms and headed out. The bunker entrance proved easy to find. A half-collapsed dome of some alloy, corroded and eaten away by centuries. I could see old scorch marks on the surrounding ground, evidence of a battle so ancient not even legend survived to tell its tale. I approached the entrance slowly, weapon drawn. My flashlight beam cut through stale darkness as I slipped inside through a gap where the doors had rusted partially open. Inside, the temperature dropped. My suit's visor adjusted, highlighting jagged shapes along the corridor walls. Once, this bunker must have been a state-of-the-art facility. Smooth corridors, efficient lighting, perhaps a hub of strategy and refuge. Now it was a tomb. I proceeded carefully, boots scraping against a floor littered with discarded rifles, shattered helmets, and shriveled bodies. Not just soldiers lay here. My heart sank when I spotted smaller skeletons, perhaps children or civilians caught in the crossfire. I tried not to linger on the thought. Surviving as a scavenger taught me long ago to shield my emotions. Still, I couldn't help feeling an echo of their despair. As I ventured deeper, the silence became profound, as if even echoes refused to inhabit this place. Dust motes danced in my flashlight beam. The corridor branched multiple times. I stuck to the main passage, following the energy reading on my wrist scanner. It grew stronger, pulsing steadily as I approached a large, half-open door. One more push and I entered what seemed like a control chamber, banks of consoles, some still faintly glowing. In the center of the room, slumped against a console, I spotted movement. Initially, I raised my weapon, expecting an animal or a mutant. Then I realized it was an alien figure, frail, ancient, and impossibly alive in this necropolis. Its skin was faded, its body cradled by the machinery around it. As I stepped closer, I felt something press against my mind. A mental pressure, like a whisper in an unfamiliar language that somehow I understood. "Welcome, scavenger," a voice said inside my head. I jolted, heart hammering. Telepathy? I'd heard rumors of such abilities, but never experienced it firsthand. The alien opened its eyes, meeting my gaze with weary acceptance. You have come far. Do you seek guidance or merely profit? I swallowed. My voice, when I spoke, sounded small in my helmet. I'm here to scavenge resources, I admitted. My home colony needs whatever I can find. Technology, tools, anything to help us survive. I didn't add that I was also here out of desperation. The colony's shelves were bare, the engines in our generators failing. Without a score soon, we might starve or be forced to move again. The alien nodded, or made a gesture akin to a nod. Then prepare yourself, it said, voice resonating in my mind, heavy with sorrow. For what I show you may break your spirit as surely as it may empower you. Before I could protest, the world around me vanished. I found myself standing on a battlefield, not as a distant observer, but as if truly transported in time. Spires of alien architecture crumbled under bombardment. Soldiers, sleek, agile beings with eyes full of terror, fought an enemy I couldn't see clearly. The air reeked of chemicals and burning flesh. I felt their panic, their hopeless cries for reinforcements that never came. I tried to tear my mind away, but the memories were relentless, pressing into me like hot blades. I watched entire cities fall, saw fields churned into sludge, and families twisted into mutated horrors by chemical weapons. A civilization's final days seared themselves into my brain. Then, as abruptly as it began, the vision ended. I stumbled back into the bunker's control room, gasping, my visor fogging with sweat. The alien watched me impassively. This is what once was, it said. We were a proud people, thriving on knowledge and beauty. The enemy came, and we unleashed horrors to fight back. We lost ourselves, lost everything. Why show me this? I demanded, voice trembling. The images still burned behind my eyelids. Because you seek to plunder this place, the alien replied. The knowledge here could save your people, or destroy you. You must understand the cost. I inhaled unsteadily. So that was it. The bunker held not just scraps of metal, but advanced technology, potent weapons. I could sense the hum of dormant systems waiting to be activated. I still need it, I said quietly. My colony is on the brink. We have nothing left. I can't return empty-handed. The alien's eyes, clouded with old pain, seemed to pity me. Very well. Let me grant you access to our legacy. But know this, the knowledge is tainted. We built marvels, but in desperation, we birth abominations. Our final stand left behind technology that can twist life and matter, technology no one should wield lightly. I nodded. There was no turning back now. The alien raised a hand, ghostly fingers touching my forehead. I felt a surge of energy, a torrent of data, images, formulas, schematics flooding my mind. I cried out, staggering, as alien mathematics, engineering principles, and cultural archives fused with my own memories. It was like holding 1,000 libraries in my head, each screaming for attention. When it ended, I collapsed, breathing hard. The alien withdrew, its form flickering. You have it now, it said, voice faint. Use it wisely, or it will consume you. I cannot leave this place, but you can. Destroy the core before you go. The heart of our technology must not remain intact. I blinked in confusion. Destroy the core? But I need... The alien's visage flickered, turning sad. The core holds raw power, unstable knowledge. You have what you need in your mind and these crystals. It gestured to a small compartment in the console. I opened it and found data crystals glowing softly. Take them. Go! A noise outside the chamber shattered the moment, metal scraping on metal. My heart sank. I remembered the visions of mutated soldiers. If any survived in some twisted form, they might roam the bunker still. I grabbed the crystals, pocketing them, and prepared to leave. The alien's voice. You must detonate the self-destruct sequence. Here is the code. Images flashed in my mind. Commands, sequences. I hurried to the console and entered them. A soft beep confirmed the countdown. Then I turned to flee. The corridor was no safer than before. The mutated creature that lunged at me was once a proud soldier. Now it was a horror, part flesh, part twisted metal. I fired my weapon, rounds sparking off its carapace. It howled, lunging with unnatural speed. My second volley found its head. It collapsed, leaking viscous fluid. No time to linger. I sprinted back the way I came, deeper sounds of shifting metal behind me. The bunker trembled as the self-destruct countdown ticked towards 0. I slipped through corridors, occasionally firing at another monstrosity that barred my path. It was a nightmare chase in shadows and dust, my boots sliding on bone fragments, the smell of decay in every breath. At last, the distant glow of the entrance. I threw myself through the narrow gap and out into the crimson light of the planet's surface. The ground rumbled beneath my feet as I ran for my ship. An all-consuming blast tore through the bunker behind me. The shockwave knocked me flat, dust and debris pelting my back. When I looked up, half the bunker was gone, replaced by a plume of smoke. I crawled to my ship, muscles screaming. Once inside, I sealed the hatch and powered the engines. They coughed and groaned but obeyed. As I lifted off, I felt a hollow ache. The alien was gone now, set free by the destruction of its prison. The data crystals rested in my pack. The knowledge in my mind throbbed like a wound. I set course for home, for the colony, hoping I hadn't just inherited a curse. The journey back took days, during which I grappled with the alien knowledge. It promised advanced energy converters, regenerative medical techniques, even weapons that could level cities. I focused on the constructive elements, stable power sources, improved machinery. If I could help my people escape poverty, all this would be worth it. I emerged from the jump corridor near the colony world. Not much of a planet, dusty plains, sparse vegetation. Our settlement was a cluster of prefabs and domes, surrounded by scrap metal fences. But it was home. I landed smoothly this time, proud that at least my ship survived. Word spread quickly. I'd returned with alien tech. As I stepped off the ramp, settlement leader Cord approached, flanked by armed guards. His eyes, once dull with exhaustion, gleamed with expectation. Back from the dead, eh? He said, smiling. You find anything worthwhile? I gave a cautious nod. Yes, but it's dangerous. We must be careful. Cord pressed for details. I held up the crystals, explaining they contained advanced schematics. I warned him about the risks. He listened, face unreadable, then nodded. We need this, he said simply. We're desperate. And we were. The colony's generators faltered daily. Our food supply dwindled. Without a breakthrough, we might have to move again, or worse, give up. I agreed to help, under the condition that I supervised the technology's implementation. Cord agreed with a tight smile. Over the next weeks, I worked tirelessly, aided by our few engineers. One was Kara, our medic, who hovered near to ensure I didn't keel over from stress. Another was Ren, a mechanic who excelled at tinkering. They eyed the crystals and equipment warily, but when I produced a design for a stabilized energy cell that could triple our power output, their skepticism wavered. We built new energy converters that allowed hydroponic gardens to flourish. For the first time in memory, green shoots and plump fruits filled our meal tables. Medical treatments advanced. Diseases that plagued us were easily cured. People marveled at the changes, and Cord took the credit publicly while acknowledging my role privately. I didn't care for credit, I just wanted to help. As prosperity grew, traders arrived. They offered minerals, parts, even luxuries in exchange for small bits of alien tech. Cord sold carefully selected pieces, and soon we had a bustling market. The colony expanded, adding new domes, workshops, and living quarters. Life felt hopeful. But the alien memories warned me. Their civilization also rose on a foundation of advancement, only to fall to an unstoppable enemy. In quiet hours, I scanned the night sky from the colony's perimeter. I wondered if I'd attract attention with these energy signatures. Were we painting a target on ourselves? Rin improved my designs, doubling energy output again. Kara administered new therapies, increasing lifespans and curing ailments. The colonists were no longer just surviving. They were thriving. Cord beamed with pride, though I caught glimpses of ambition in his eyes. Some colonists, too, demanded more power, more weapons, more everything. There were whispers that we should not just improve ourselves, but expand, dominate neighboring settlements that once bullied us. I pushed back against such talk. This knowledge ruined the aliens, I reminded them. We must never become like that. Some grumbled, but Cord supported me. He seemed to understand that reckless expansion could backfire. Months passed. The colony was nearly unrecognizable from the dusty pit I'd left behind. Smooth corridors, clean energy, abundant food. We had a rudimentary shield network around the settlement. People were happy, or at least satisfied. I tried to relax, telling myself maybe we'd avoided the aliens' fate. Then the sky dimmed at midday. I looked up to see colossal shapes overhead, massive alien ships, their silhouettes writhing with metallic tentacles and strange protrusions. The stars' red light cast horrifying shadows as these vessels blocked out the sun. Panic seized the colony. Everyone grabbed weapons, hid in shelters, or ran in blind fear. No communications, no warning. These aliens, whoever they were, descended swiftly, unleashing mechanical soldiers onto our streets. They resembled no species I'd known, biomechanical horrors with hollow eyes and lethal blades. Our defenses faltered. Our weapons, though improved, were child's toys against their armor. Chaos reigned. Screams, explosions. I fought alongside a band of colonists, but the enemy was too strong. Kara swung a rifle, but hit one creature before being impaled. Rin tried to rewire a plasma turret, but was overrun, dying with a cry cut short. Bodies fell everywhere. I retreated towards the dome housing our great device and crystals. If I could shut it down or destroy it, maybe the aliens would lose interest. But inside the dome, Cord and a handful of defenders tried to hold the entrance. The aliens arrived in unstoppable waves, slicing through metal and flesh alike. I managed to fire a few shots before one alien's blade caught my side. Pain flared white-hot. I staggered, blood soaking my suit. The aliens pressed forward, dispassionate. Cord and his defenders fell one by one. I crawled towards the device, vision swimming. I realized with hollow despair that these attackers must have traced the energy signatures or the rumors of alien tech here. We had become too visible, too successful, and now we pay the ultimate price. The device hummed softly, oblivious to the slaughter. I saw no chance to destroy it. My weapon slipped from my numb fingers. The aliens closed in, towering over my prone form. Their glowing eyes reflected no pity, no hatred, just cold efficiency. I recalled the alien survivor's warning: knowledge or madness, salvation or doom. We had chosen knowledge, and it had saved us for a time. But in a universe of predators and victims, our small spark of prosperity had attracted a far worse fate. Perhaps if we had stayed hidden, scavenging in the shadows, but no. We needed hope. We gambled and lost. The aliens raised their blades. I thought of the bunker, the whispering alien ghost, its final gift. I thought of Kara, Rin, all the colonists who dared to dream of a better life. Our dreams would die here, in the choking dust, beneath a sky darkened by enemy ships. My last thought was a plea, not to any god or higher power, but to the silent bones that covered the distant battlefield. Let someone, somewhere, learn from this. Let our failure be a lesson that not all miracles lead to salvation. Then the blade fell, cutting short my final breath. In the sudden void of darkness, the knowledge and secrets we fought so hard to obtain scattered like sparks in a rainstorm, flickering out into nothingness. The colony, now silent ruins, left no stories to tell. This was the end.